Over 226 million. That's the staggering number of encounters between U.S. Border Patrol agents and migrants attempting to cross the U.S.-Mexico border between 2000 and 2024. This figure represents a complex reality, a story woven from individual hopes, political decisions, and the ever-evolving dynamics of migration. This essay delves into the fluctuations in illegal border crossings and expulsions over these 24 years. We will examine the policies of 5 different presidents, exploring their impact on border security and the lives of migrants. By analyzing the numbers year by year, we aim to shed light on the trends, shifts, and key events that have shaped this critical issue. The U.S.-Mexico border, a 1,954-mile stretch of land, has long been a point of both connection and contention. Understanding the ebb and flow of migration across this border requires a nuanced perspective, one that considers both the quantitative data and the human stories behind the numbers. The year 2000 marked the final year of Bill Clinton's presidency, a period characterized by efforts to strengthen border security while addressing the root causes of migration. Operation Gatekeeper, launched in 1994, was in full swing. This initiative involved increased border patrol agents, infrastructure improvements, and the use of technology to deter crossings in urban areas like San Diego. While Operation Gatekeeper successfully reduced crossings in urban areas, it unintentionally diverted migrant flows to more remote and dangerous regions. This resulted in a tragic increase in migrant deaths, as individuals attempting to cross faced harsh desert conditions and treacherous terrain. The year 2000 saw approximately 1.6 million apprehensions at the southwest border, a figure indicative of the ongoing challenges faced by the Clinton administration in managing migration flows. The Clinton years laid the groundwork for future debates surrounding border security and immigration reform, issues that would continue to dominate the national conversation in the years to come. The events of September 11, 2001 cast a long shadow over the United States, forever altering the nation's sense of security and vulnerability. The tragic loss of life and the sheer scale of the attacks left an indelible mark on the American psyche. In the wake of these attacks, the country's approach to border security underwent a profound transformation. Airports saw a dramatic increase in security measures, with new protocols and technologies implemented to prevent future threats. Border checkpoints became more stringent, and government buildings were fortified with additional barriers. The George W. Bush administration prioritized national security above all else, leading to the creation of the Department of Homeland Security in 2002. This monumental shift aimed to streamline and enhance the nation's ability to respond to and prevent terrorist activities. This new department consolidated several agencies, including the U.S. Border Patrol, under one umbrella, signaling a more centralized and coordinated approach to border enforcement. The goal was to create a seamless operation that could efficiently manage and secure the nation's borders. The Secure Fence Act of 2006 further solidified the Bush administration's commitment to strengthening border control. This legislation was a key component of the administration's broader strategy to curb illegal immigration and enhance national security. This act authorized the construction of approximately 700 miles of fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border, a move met with both support and opposition. Supporters argued that it was a necessary step to protect the country, while opponents raised concerns about its effectiveness and the humanitarian impact on migrant communities. Apprehensions at the southwest border remained high during the Bush years, exceeding 1 million in 2005 and 2006. These numbers highlighted the ongoing challenges in managing and securing the border despite the increased measures. This indicated the continued challenges in stemming the flow of undocumented migrants. The persistent attempts to cross the border underscored the complex socioeconomic factors driving migration and the limitations of enforcement-only approaches. The Bush administration's focus on security measures laid the groundwork for future debates about the effectiveness and humanitarian implications of border enforcement strategies. The use of advanced technology such as drones and sensors became a topic of discussion, as did the role of humanitarian aid groups in addressing the needs of migrants. These debates continue to shape the national conversation on border security and immigration policy. Section 4. A shift in approach. Obama's 2 terms. Barack Obama assumed the presidency in 2009, inheriting a complex immigration landscape. the nation was deeply divided on how to handle the millions of undocumented immigrants living within its borders. Obama's approach aimed to balance enforcement with compassion, seeking a comprehensive solution that would address both security concerns and the humanitarian needs of immigrants. His administration pursued a multi-pronged approach, focusing on both enforcement and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants already residing in the United States. This strategy included bolstering border security, while also advocating for legislative reforms that would provide a legal avenue for undocumented immigrants to earn citizenship. One of the most significant developments during the Obama years was the implementation of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program in 2012. This executive action was a landmark decision that aimed to protect young immigrants who had been brought to the United States as children, often referred to as dreamers. DACA provided temporary protection from deportation and work authorization to eligible undocumented youth who came to the United States as children. This program allowed them to work legally, pursue higher education, and contribute more fully to American society without the constant fear of deportation. The Obama administration also grappled with the issue of unaccompanied minors and families arriving at the border seeking asylum. This humanitarian crisis required a delicate balance between enforcing immigration laws and providing care and due process to vulnerable populations. The surge in arrivals in 2014 led to the establishment of family detention centers, a controversial policy that drew criticism from human rights groups. These centers were intended to manage the influx of families, but they also sparked debates about the ethics and effectiveness of detaining children and their parents. Despite these challenges, apprehensions at the southwest border decreased during Obama's presidency, reaching a low of 303,916 in 2011. This decline was seen as a positive outcome of the administration's efforts to enhance border security and address the root causes of migration. This decline can be attributed to a combination of factors, including improved economic conditions in Mexico and increased border security measures. Additionally, the administration's focus on targeting criminal organizations and human traffickers played a role in reducing illegal crossings. Obama's tenure was marked by a complex and evolving approach to immigration, reflecting the multifaceted nature of the issue and the ongoing debate over the best path forward for the nation. Section 5. Building Walls, Enforcing Limits, the Trump Presidency. Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign centered on a promise to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border and to crack down on illegal immigration. Upon taking office in 2017, the Trump administration implemented a series of hardline policies aimed at deterring migration. One of the most controversial policies was the zero-tolerance policy, which resulted in the separation of thousands of migrant children from their parents at the border. This policy sparked widespread outrage and was eventually rescinded. The Trump administration also made significant progress on the construction of the border wall, a project that faced legal challenges and criticism for its environmental impact. Apprehensions at the southwest border fluctuated during the Trump years, reaching a high of 851,508 in 2019. Section 6. A New Hope, a New Crisis, the Biden Administration. Joe Biden took office in 2021, inheriting a pandemic-stricken world and a complex immigration system in need of reform. The challenges were immense, and the expectations were high. Biden campaigned on a platform of reversing many of the Trump administration's immigration policies, promising a more humane and orderly approach to border management. His vision included creating a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and addressing the root causes of migration. The Biden administration immediately halted construction of the border wall, a symbol of the previous administration's hardline stance, and took steps to reunite families separated at the border during the previous administration. This move was widely praised by human rights organizations. However, the Biden administration faced immediate challenges, including a surge in arrivals of unaccompanied minors at the border. The influx strained resources and tested the administration's resolve, including a surge in arrivals of unaccompanied minors at the border. These children, often fleeing violence and poverty, required special care and attention. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic added another layer of complexity to the situation, as the administration grappled with balancing public health concerns with the need to process asylum claims. The virus's spread necessitated stringent health protocols. as the administration grappled with balancing public health concerns with the need to process asylum claims. Testing and quarantine measures were put in place to prevent outbreaks. The Biden administration continued to rely on Title 42, a public health order implemented by the Trump administration that allowed for the rapid expulsion of migrants, a public health order implemented by the Trump administration that allowed for the rapid expulsion of migrants, including asylum seekers, at the border. This policy was controversial and faced legal challenges, including asylum seekers at the border. The administration's reliance on this policy drew criticism from immigrant advocates. Apprehensions at the southwest border continued to rise in 2021, reaching the highest level in over 2 decades. The sheer number of migrants overwhelmed the system, reaching the highest level in over 2 decades. The administration had to quickly adapt to manage the growing numbers. The Biden administration faced criticism from both sides of the political spectrum, with some arguing for stricter enforcement, and others calling for more humane policies. The debate over immigration reform was as heated as ever, and others calling for more humane policies. The administration's efforts to strike a balance between security and compassion were ongoing, with no easy solutions in sight.